I don't think the lights are back on, but this is like 3 hours ago. Puerto Rico is without power. The island of Puerto Rico. Yeah, an island-wide blackout hits Puerto Rico today as the largely Catholic residents of the U.S. territory prepared to celebrate the Easter weekend. Hospitals. The island are operating on generators after the power went out. Hospitals are operating on generators. Hello, Hopperson. In case you don't know, Puerto Rico, a couple weeks ago, Cuba lost power. Can you hear me good? Right in North Carolina again, yes. My dog is barking at the cat back there. But anyway, yeah, I was watching Richie last night saying, this can be very short, saying if the power goes out and if your money's in the bank and all that, that when the power comes back on, that is the way I took it. That your money be gone and the AI will be in like full force or whatever. Pretty much something like that. All hospitals on the island are operating on generators after the power went out today at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's what Veronica, the acting governor and Secretary of State for Puerto Rico, said at the news conference. The source of the outage was in the southern part of the island where a transmission line was affected. That's what they're telling everybody. But thank you very much. Yeah, the weather is nice today. But I was going to read this little article again. Yes, it's out. I need to start doing stuff like this because if this starts happening in America, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying it could happen. If you have money in the bank, that it could be when the lights come back on, gone. I don't have a clue. I guess we'll find out if the power ever really goes out. Hello, Rebecca, Lynn. Can y'all hear me? Renee Vester, hello. Thank you. The Watchman. You've been watching me, hadn't you? I'm just kidding, man. I tried a live stream earlier and my dang battery went dead because it wasn't charging. You just coming in, Puerto Rico has a blackout, apparently. Hospitals are operating on generators. Now, RFB was also saying, look, I take him at, he was right about the COV. He was right, 100%. That if it goes out in America, if the power goes out, and it's probably true, hello, Rose Journey, that people, a lot of people would die, y'all, like in these hospitals and everything, because even after a couple of days, the generators are going to stop supplying everything. Yeah, the cat's in the backyard, y'all. All right, let me read a little bit more. About 1.4 million clients on the island are without power. This thing here is skipping a little bit. Which oversees the transmission and distribution of power. The entire island is without generation, he said. Restoring the power will likely take through Thursday, I guess tomorrow. So hopefully the people of Puerto Rico will get their power back on tomorrow, or at least 48 hours is what they're saying. At least 78,000 customers were also without water. You know, the power went out with these hurricanes and stuff too when they got hit, and the earthquakes. And the people are fuming, y'all. I was reading a little bit of this article because they wanted to do away with the whoever is supplying the power. Restoring the power will likely take through Thursday at least 48 hours. It was not immediately clear what caused the shutdown. See, they know what caused the shutdown. They know. Of course they know. If any computer, anything is hooked up, they know. The latest in a string of major blackouts on the island. See, I'm just kind of worried about, because we know here in America, if the power goes out and when it comes back on, this could be a different story. I can't say everything that I think or know or whatever, y'all, because I don't really know what will happen, you know, except for if the power is out a very, very, very long time. People will die, I mean, in these hospitals, and I got to get the cat out of there, y'all. The last major blackout occurred less than 5 months ago on New Year's Eve. Thousands of Puerto Ricans were fuming over the latest outrage, with many renewing their calls that the government cancel a contract with Luma and Genera PR, which oversees the generation of power on the island. How many's here? Not many. This is a total disaster, says Orlando Hertez, 68. Why did they got to tell the age? I don't know. As he sipped a drink with a friend on a street side bar, criticized the government for not doing enough to tackle the chronic outages. Dozens of people were forced to walk next to the rails of the rapid transit system that serves the capital, San Juan, while scores of businesses, including the biggest mall in the Caribbean, were forced to close. Professional baseball and basketball games were canceled in Puerto Rico. Hello, Scully. I just want to let y'all know, like Cuba lost power a couple weeks ago, now Puerto Rico. Is this like a system-wide thing happening, you know, resetting? I'm just asking questions like I always do. I mean, we're going to find out sooner or later, you know, what's really going on. Following today's island-wide power outage, our administration is actively engaged in ongoing communication with the White House because, you know, Puerto Rico is now, a territory, I believe, of America. Like Guam. We are working closely with the federal government to ensure that Puerto Rico receives the necessary support and all essential services restored as quickly as soon as possible. By late Wednesday afternoon, some 5,000 to 7,000 clients had their power restored. So good. Maybe slowly, but surely. Okay. I'm just having a little concern, nothing major, y'all. Those without generators crowded around grocery stores and other businesses to buy ice. I'm desperate. My generator is broken, said one fellow who worried about the impact of the blackout on the two children they have, a 6-month and a 5-year-old with Down syndrome, as the temperature rose across Puerto Rico. Another person's frustrated with the constant outages, some of which had already damaged her TV and microwave, forcing her to buy new appliances. They have to improve. Those who are affected are us, the poor people. The island of 3.2 million residents has more than 40% poverty rate. And not everyone can afford solar panels or generators. While there is a push to use more renewable energy source, under the administration of former U.S. President Joe, you know who he is. Puerto Rico has struggled with chronic outages since September of 2017, when Hurricane Maria pummeled the island. Yeah, I remember that. The grid had already been deteriorating as a result of decades of a lack of maintenance and investment. In the aftermath of the Hurricane Maria, the Puerto Rico government in 2021 hired Luma, a private Canadian-American company based in San Juan, to handle the transmission and distribution of electricity on the island. Kind of sounds like Pacific, you know, and power and gas over there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The government faced billions of dollars in public debt payments. So yeah, let's hope the power don't go out here in America. If it does, I want everybody to have a backup plan. That's why I'm telling y'all this stuff. Who has a backup plan? Do you have some water? Do you have some food? Do you have the things necessary for survival? And I may start doing a little bit of stuff like this because it's beautiful outside, y'all. And thank y'all for coming in. The Watchman, Dan G. You read newspapers? I was reading right here off of this tablet I have. I had a notification talking about it. I don't read newspapers a lot. No, because most Democrats are writing the newspapers. You never know what to believe anymore, you know. Howdy, 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 Darryl. Maybe solar panels and a battery setup. So yeah, have a backup plan, y'all. I'm just going by, I mean, some people have more knowledge about how this all works and how these people are conniving and trying to, you know, change our future and all that and rob us. The rich people rob us. It's not called robbery, you know. It's just called controlled government, you know. So they could take your money out the bank and say, well, the power is back on after it goes out, you know, and be like, we're in a new system, you know. So at least I don't ever promote gold because you can't eat gold, y'all. And I don't have a sponsor about gold anyway. Wouldn't that be pretty awesome? If I had a sponsor to try to, you know, sell gold, and every live stream they pay me something to advertise. You can't eat gold, y'all. For real. Plenty of water. You can eat food and you can drink plenty of water. And you can have batteries and stuff, y'all. Have a generator. Have some gas on hand. At least a couple days of gas. I mean, it's common sense. Because if the power goes out, you're going to need a light on, you know. I'm like, man, some people buy converters that run from their car, and you can plug into it, at least a plug. You can run a light or a fan or something off of it. So yeah, just stay ahead of the curve. That's all I want to do is, I know I have a little bit of backup. I have a generator. I have a couple days of gas. Every time I get enough gas, my gas gets old, and then I have to replenish it, you know? So always be ahead of it, y'all. John P., the power's out in Puerto Rico. Jesus is coming soon. John Hobbs, good to see y'all. Book of Psalms, thank you. I think the grid will go down in the New World Order. Well, it might. And we're around that new time if they want this thing in full effect, you know, the New World Order. and money going digital and all this stuff, that whatever they have laid out planned for everybody, they're going to have to cut the switch and do away and wipe everything. It seems pretty sensible, you know. When the lights come back on, who knows when they will, then it'll be the new reset. They've been talking about it, y'all, and we know it's coming. The new reset. We will have nothing. Well, if you prepare, have some food and water on hand, you will have something to survive. If they take all the money or whatever, we won't have anything. Best thing to do is try to avoid, and I was watching these videos on TikTok a while ago. Here's something else. These people are disappearing and stuff, y'all, for human trafficking. And this is, you know, I'm really, through Uber drivers. I'm not putting nothing out there, I'm repeating what I saw. I mean, I can show it to you, but I'm not in the house on the computer. That there was a fine mist coming out of the console. And this lady, like, almost passed out. And the Uber driver had something on his face. She escaped before he was able to traffic her, you know? She was passing out, y'all. We live in desperate times. Be careful. If you use, I'm not saying don't trust the Uber driver. Don't be on your phone and stuff. Pay attention what's going on if you get in a car like that, you know? Desperate times calls for desperate, you know, responsibilities. Something like that, y'all. Hello, little bit. The Adventures. Long time no see. Another little bit. The nice Winterbottom. Hello. Good to see y'all again. Thank y'all for coming in. Daryl Calhoun, good to see you, man. I can envision America like a bunch of Muppets running around in confusion. Exactly. If the power goes out after a couple of days, there'll be looting and laundering and soliciting and whatever, stealing, robbing, you name it. So you want to stay to yourself, you know. Don't get out in a bunch of crowds and all that if the power goes out. Because people will lose their mind, y'all. And you definitely don't want authorities, if there's any out there, you know, be like shooting rubber bullets at you, nothing like that, you know. So just be prepared, y'all. Keep things up. And if you don't know anything about my premiere Friday night, you want to see it. It's going to be pretty awesome, y'all. Y'all know I got to advertise. Hello, Still Waters. Ryan, North Carolina, so sorry to hear. Well, let me look. Y'all a bunch of awesome people, y'all. Ashley, hello, Ratliff. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. A little bit, can you keep me in prayer? I just lost my mom. Absolutely. Y'all pray for a little bit. The Lord knows who she is. Janine TV from the Philippines. Hello. Ashley Ratliff. I lived in Kentucky for 8 years. Neslover, you just blow my mind, ma'am. God bless you. Lost your mom. I'm sorry a little bit. God bless you all. John P. Adventures, man. Be aware and be prepared. I don't know if anything will ever happen. If the power goes out, y'all, just be prepared. Don't run around like a chicken with your head cut off. You know, I always say, and I never have, waited for the government to come and help. I'd be dead by now if I waited for the government, you know? I would, y'all. I'd be dead. Because the government never came around. When we had an ice storm and all these things that happened, I lost power for 2 weeks almost, you know, in that ice storm way back. Helene come through. We lost power for several days. All these things, y'all. I was prepared. It was freezing cold, y'all, in the wintertime, and the power went out like 4 days. I was prepared. And I insist that everybody here be prepared because you know anything is possible, y'all. Y'all pray for a little bit and her mom and her family, I mean. Father Verson, hello, my friend. How are you? Thank you for coming through. Mark your calendar. You're going to see a pretty awesome air show Friday night. For real, y'all. I looked at it again today. It ain't perfect, but it's going to be pretty awesome. As long as we got power, you'll be able to see it. Puerto Rico's without power, y'all. My mom did right when the bad storm hit in Kentucky. Well, that's very awesome. God bless you. Do the right thing, you know. Your mom would want you to do that. We'll see y'all tomorrow. God bless all of you. Joy Calhoun, good to see y'all. Thank you. We'll see you again soon, y'all.